Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the League of Europe YouTube channel for round 13 of Season 3 of Formula 2. My name is Aidan Carter, otherwise known as Commenters. I'll be taking you through proceedings, as always, in Formula 2. And as always, joining me in the commentary box this week is QVR Daka. Daka, how are you doing, mate?
Thank you very much, Aidan. I'm doing very well. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 13 of the LOE Formula 2 season. Here we go. This round comes to you from Singapore. And yeah, very intriguing. Looking forward to this one. We're not alone for tonight. We are joined just by a special guest for tonight. We're going to run through a few questions with him quickly. It is a very experienced driver in the LOE, but a relatively new driver to this season of Formula 2. It's Jaco. How you doing, man?
I'm doing alright, man. I'm doing okay. I'm a bit worried for tonight, like I was saying before, but I'm looking forward to it.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, obviously coming into Singapore round 13 of the championship. Before we get your thoughts on how your season's been so far, obviously I think I can guess what your thoughts are on this track. But how do you feel about Singapore in the Formula 2 cars?
In a Formula 2 car, I hate it. In a Formula 1 car, I really enjoy the track. Like Singapore is definitely like a really good track for me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to racing this one tonight. In the F2, as I said, it's not. I say I hate it. It's not bad, but I definitely prefer it in the F1 cars.
And I've seen a lot flying around about this week as well about the lack of setups and how much of a difference that makes at Singapore. How much would you say that affects the way the cars handle around here? Does that contribute to your lack of enjoyment around here?
Oh yeah, like the handling on here is just awful. It's so difficult to like get rotation in the cars, especially at the likes of the hairpin and like sector 2. Even like a couple of the first corners, it's so difficult to be able to maneuver it to the point where it's like you're keeping it on track and not hitting the walls. So I reckon tonight we're going to see quite a few broken wings if I'm completely honest.
Oh, that will be intriguing to see. Speaking of obviously your predictions for tonight, what do you think your what's your goal for tonight? What result do you think you can get out of this one?
I'm hoping to try and get a top 5. Like I don't think I've even had a top 5 since my first race in Britain. So I'm trying to aim back towards that goal, but I don't know. I just can't seem to string it in the last few rounds in these F2 cars. But again, Singapore is a track that I like. I want to try and I've been doing a little bit of practice on it, so I'm hoping I'm going to be doing well enough for tonight.
Aidan was mentioning more short-term goals. What about longer-term goals? Of course, it's not long in the season. You've only, up to this point, competed in 5 rounds of the championship. So you are disadvantaged in that way, but you currently sit 14th in the standings. How much further up do you reckon you can get in the remaining rounds before you reach the end of the season?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I actually don't know what the standings are looking like, but I am. If I'm completely honest with you, I am at least wanting to try and beat a few of the other XL lads that are in this, of course, as well. Just a bit of XL rivalry, but I'm pretty sure Dan's out of the question for me beating whatsoever. I'd want to try and at least, maybe even just besting my teammate, because I know Alt Maverick's in 8th in the championship, and I've just got it up now, so I at least want to try and get past him in the championship. I know it's going to be difficult, but I think I'm about 40 or 50 odd points just behind him now.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can try and make my way back up through that.
Yeah, just looking at the standings as well, your XL teammate Gary's not actually that far in front of you either, and obviously Lando, who's now joined XL as well in the past week or so, so he's another one to look out for. And I think last question from me, as in terms of other people on track, who do you think your closest matches on track? Who do you think you're more likely to be battling with tonight?
Probably the likes of Miami and maybe probably, I don't know. It's tight because a few guys that I've raced with like in the past, like I feel like the one that I've been closest to, or the two I've been closest to, are both Dan and Miami. So I'd probably go with just those two as well. So yeah, Dan and Miami, I would say I'll probably be the closest to. Maybe I don't know if Peace is racing tonight or not, but if he is, then he's probably another one.
Brilliant. That's all the questions for me. I don't know if Daka, if you've got any more questions you want to fire his way.
No, that's all from me.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much, Jacob, for joining us for that quick interview, and good luck for today. We won't let you, well, I'm going to let you know that every time someone's been in for an interview, we have cursed them. So fingers crossed you break the curse.
I do hope so as well.
Well, yeah, we hope so as well. So yeah, good luck for tonight, and hopefully everything goes well for you.
Cool. Cheers, lads. Thanks for some good luck for the comms as well.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. See you later.
Good luck with the voices.
Brilliant stuff. So that was obviously J. Cole joining us for the interview for the start of this one. Thank you very much to him for joining. We've only got a couple minutes to go before we get going for tonight's race. And Dakar, obviously, just extending on from what J. Cole was saying, Singapore, such a difficult track to master in these Formula 2 cars, and unlike pretty much anything we've seen all season long.
Yeah, it's a completely different challenge. Singapore, I believe, has the most corners of any track on the calendar, or 23, I think it is, around about that sort of region. So it's undoubtedly one of the most technical tracks, and we've not seen Monaco, for example, this season. So this is arguably the biggest challenge these drivers have had to put up with yet. It's going to be very, very tricky. By race time, it's usually the longest races as well. So it's going to be very exhausting for the drivers, and I'm sure they're going to be put through their paces. We will see. And after we've had a few rounds, especially at the midpoint of the season, where there were tracks where you could allow a bit more room for error, Singapore, you can see the barriers are always lurking, looming. So yeah, you cannot afford any mistake. As Jacob was alluding to earlier, you could be losing parts of your front wing. So as we begin to ready up now, these drivers cannot afford any mistakes tonight.
Yeah, they really cannot afford those mistakes, like you say. We've only got 16 drivers for tonight. We've not got the full 20 on the grid. We've got a few people missing, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to get some incredible racing tonight, as we have done all Formula 2 season long. Coming into this round as well, just going to run you through the championship standings. So Toxic took the championship lead a couple rounds ago, and since then it's kind of really cleared off into the distance. He now has a 27-point lead over Larkin. Larkin had led the championship for the majority of the way. Behind Larkin, it's still 76 points back to Verstappen, who was still locked in a massive battle with his teammate Campbell for third in the standings. There's only 6 points separating them. It's a further 81 points back to Zaldamer in 5th place, ever the consistent driver up in 5th in the championship. He's ahead of Chill and Pease. Those three seemingly the ones battling for 5th in the standings, but they are a little bit separated. 34 and 40 points separate the pair of them respectively. 42 points further back to Maverick, and then obviously behind Maverick is that huge battle to 8th in the standings, which includes Miami, Lando, Gary, Alex, Tim and J. Cole. So a lot of fights still going on for the championship, but the top two, the momentum in the last few rounds has massively swung towards Toxic, hasn't it?
Definitely, and we'll see, of course, if Larkin is able to start turning things around now, because it seemed as though when he was leading, every time Toxic looked like he was gaining momentum, Larkin would immediately turn it back on and Toxic would make a mistake. Toxic has made several mistakes. He actually threw away winning the sprint race just last time out, or the feature race, sorry, last time out in Australia. So he is still making errors, but Larkin is uncharacteristically making mistakes of his own, getting caught in incidents, and that's stopping him from taking advantage. Last time out, he had his lowest scoring round of the whole championship.
Yeah, he did definitely have a really struggled in Australia last time out, but we're going to run on board with Spaghetti Chips. He's going to be our driver for qualifying today. He's going to head into turn 1. Remember, Formula 2 runs in the daylight around this track, so that's one thing to look out for, another new challenge. And look at that already, Spag, a massive slide on the brakes through turn 3, just had the massive rear lockup coming through that corner. He's still going. It looks like he might have invalidated his lap time pretty early on already by the looks of things, unless it's the timing glitch on my end. And now onto the first of the 2 DRS straights. Obviously the pit straight is the other DRS straight to look out for in this one. Now coming through Raffles Boulevard and up towards turn 7, the start of the second sector, and now it's 90 left after 90 right from here on in. So very, very narrow this part of the track as well, so make sure you don't run too wide and into the wall on the outside. Again, a lot of understeer on board that car, as we've alluded to pretty much all stream long so far. Again, another little lock up there for Spag as he now comes up towards what used to be the Singapore chicane, probably the most iconic corner on the track, now just a simple 90 left-handed corner, and now into the chicane just before the Anderson Bridge. And again, this has been a little bit modified in recent years as to what it was, just to try and aid overtaking ever so slightly. To be honest, in real life Formula 1 it's not made too much of a difference, but we now come over the Anderson Bridge, round the hairpin, and now down the back straight. Actually, this is the third DRS zone. I'm sorry, I forgot they added this DRS zone in as they now come down towards the end of the second sector and into the final sector, which is definitely probably the more slower part of the track. Now we come into a lot of quick 90 left and 90 right corners in quick succession. Here's the first of the two, a little bit of a kink left in the braking zone, and now coming down towards the part where you go underneath the grandstand, another iconic part of this track, under this corner. So easy to lock up and end up in that outside wall, but he keeps it nice and neat to Spag as it now comes into the final 4 corners on the track. Again, you can hook the curb on the inside of these two quite nicely, and now into the final 2 corners. Really a double apex corner, this one, as he comes into the corner. Once again, it looks like Toxic's on pole position by a country mile. Look at that. 7/10 of a second, and newcomer Uriel Matthias is on second place. That's a brilliant debut qualifying for him, but once again, Toxic flying out front.
A massive margin, and that's probably one of the more spread out grids we've had so far this season, and it's pretty understandable. It is such a difficult track and very long as well. But Toxic, that is ominous. And yeah, as you mentioned, Matthias, great debut qualifying, getting up onto that provisional front row. We'll see what he can make of that and maybe mount a challenge. But Toxic, 3/4 of a second, 4 extra points. As it stands right now, he's taking more and more steps towards that second championship.
Yeah, and disaster again for Larkin in qualifying, especially since the mid part of the season. Larkin's qualifying has massively dipped, but Toxic fastest by 7.5 tenths of a second, like you say, 8 tenths back to his teammate Chill in third. Again, a good qualifying for him. Can he convert it in the race? Verstappen 4th, ahead of Zaldimer 5th, Miami 6th. Tim and Alex 7th and 8th, their best joint qualifying of the season, but look at them, 2.3 and 2.7 seconds off pole. Spag in 9th, and Ibo the last qualifier to set an actual time in 10th. Philippe, Larkin, Freak Frank, J. Cole, Campbell and Jordan all not setting times, especially Campbell, J. Cole and Larkin. 3 big names not able to set a valid time, and around Singapore, that's incredibly important.
Yeah, because it is a very difficult track to overtake. One advantage that they do have is that it is a long race in terms of overall race time. So it is possible to try and make up for that. But yeah, that could really start to throw things open in the championship now. Can Toxic start now to really stretch his legs and get out there? He is still far from safe, and we still have a long way to go in this season. So it is certainly not over yet. We do still have, I believe, 6 race nights left. So we will see, of course, but yeah, Toxic taking another step. Matthias, another impressive showing. We'll see if he's able to try and hold that up at the front against some very experienced drivers like Chell, Verstappen and Zerba up there. So we'll see how he fares up, but if Toxic can just maintain that lead off the start with a 7/10 advantage in qualifying, it seems probable that he could really run away with this one yet again in the feature race.
He really could, yeah, and we've seen so far this season how many times he's won in a feature race. He's dominated pretty much, I'd say that the majority of the feature races we've had this season, Toxic's been leading the way. A couple of mistakes in some races meant he hasn't ended up winning some of the feature races, but most of the time you can count on Toxic to win. 17 laps for a feature race around Singapore. This race is going to last forever for these guys out on track. This is definitely the longest race of the season around this track. It's going to be closer probably to more the half an hour to 40-minute range, this race. So longest race. And also another thing to look out for as well is the tyre compounds. Obviously Singapore, we don't come here in Formula 2 cars. They have come here in the past as GP2 cars a few years back, but as Formula 2 cars they've never come here, and they're on super soft and soft compound tyres around a track where it's notoriously difficult to manage tyre temperatures. So running those tyres around this track, it's going to be really difficult to manage the tyres throughout a race distance.
We don't know exactly what to expect, but maybe these drivers have a better idea. But yeah, I'm actually surprised that we do see as many drivers actually going for these super soft tyres, because it may well be a bit of a struggle. We will see, of course, when we get round to it. Interestingly, Spag has been disqualified from the formation lap, which in hindsight may not, I guess he is on these soft tyres, so they may be a little bit down on temperature for the start of the race. So it means at the back of the field we have the other 3 cars on softs. They'd be Jaco, Campbell and Jordan. We'll see if they can fight back after difficult qualifying sessions. Jaco invalidating qualifying, maybe the interview course continues. We hope they can try and turn the fortunes around. But of course, everyone inside the top 8 has gone for the faster compounded tyres, the super softs, and we'll see if they can use them to stretch away, and we'll see, of course, how long they can go into the race. It'll tell us a lot to see the tyre deck we can expect, and if you can possibly make that strategy work and keep them in front, and maybe even stretch away during the first few laps of the race.
Absolutely, and also look out for that safety car. It could be very common around this track. The walls are very, very close to the edge of the circuit, so don't be surprised if you see an early safety car. Remember, any pit stops before lap 3 will not count as your mandatory stops. You have to wait until lap 3 has started before you can make your first pit stop in this race. Obviously, you can pit before then. You are allowed to come into the pit lane, but it won't count. So here we go then, coming up to the start of the race then. Just before we get going though, Daka, who do you think is going to be in the top 3 in the feature race today?
You can't bet against Toxic, really, for a feature race victory. I'm going to say he will convert. Second place, I'm going to say Verstappen, and third, Zaunima, because I think that they could be seeing some penalties around here. We will see, of course, but I think that you're going to go for some of the more experienced and proven drivers to come out on top here at Singapore.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That was exactly my prediction as well, with Verstappen and Zaunima second and third. But here we go then for the start of the feature race. Is it Toxic? Is it newcomer Matthias? He gets the best start off the line. Lights are out fairly quickly in the way they go. Matthias' reactions were incredible. He went off the line like a bolt. But can Toxic recover in the second half? Yes, he can. Toxic's second half of his start is very, very strong. So Matthias has to stay in second. Chill stays in third. It's Tim who's had an incredible start. Up to 4th place already from 7th on the grid. Trying to go round the outside of Verstappen. Gets a little bit squirrely on traction though, and he might lose out to his teammate here because of it. Who's looking round the outside, but I don't think he's quite going to get there. But then Tim's line is compromised through the corner, and Alex is going to drive clean around the outside of his teammate and up into 5th place. But both LON cars have had a great start to this race, up in 5th and 6th, make that 5th and 7th. Now as Zaunima looking to the inside, but Tim very late on the brakes down Raffers Boulevard, and there's a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Oh, and Alex has spun the car all on his own on the exit of the corner, gets on the curb, spins the car. So after a great start for Alex, he's dropped right to the back of the field. What a shame for him. He was looking on for a good result. That's put Zaunima up into 6th and Miami up into 7th. Larkin's already up to 8th. He's had a brilliant start from 12th on the grid, trying to work his way past Miami, but there's not enough room there. Campbell from the back of the grid is up to 10th on those soft tyres. He's making those work, and he's stuck a little bit behind Freak at the moment. There's a whole queue of cars right to the back of the field, but right back at the front of the field, it's Toxic that continues to lead. He's already over a second clear of the rest of the field.
And that qualifying pace seemingly translating so far. We'll see if it holds up throughout the remainder of this feature race. Toxic settling in with a comfortable lead up at the front. Zaunima locking up brakes, going into turn 14. Alongside him goes Miami. Traction on exit will let the ART driver down though, and he has to settle back into 7th place behind them. Jekyll and Spag, they were battling away down there. Jekyll getting up through and up into 12th place, trying to recover off that start, but he hasn't quite been able to go with Campbell, who runs in P10 for the time being up at the front. Matthias didn't, as you mentioned, go away. As I saw Chill going into the wall there on the exit of turn 21, and that is definite wing damage on the side of the Prema. Oh, Chill. How often have we seen his races go wrong after strong qualifying performances? Yet again, it is not going to plan, and surely he's going to be at the mercy of losing place behind Verstappen, will surely bear down, and Matthias will surely pull away. Chill making an error early on, that is going to leave him with a mountain to climb with front wing damage around Singapore to try and stay up in that podium spot.
Such a shame. Looking so good for Prema 1st and 3rd with their main championship rivals, but currently 4th and well down the field in 10th. They were really looking strong, but Chill again, just contact with the wall is going to massively cost him in this race. He's got front wing damage, like you say. Expect him to start losing time, hand over fist. Verstappen's not quite caught him yet, but they were quite spaced out after the first lap. Meanwhile, all sorts of chaos going down Raffers Boulevard, and I think Campbell's made his way past Freak. He has, so Campbell's now up into 9th place on the soft tyres, and Philippe was in the wall in the background. I think Philippe and J. Cole got into a little bit of side-by-side contact there, and it put Philippe in the wall. Amazingly, Philippe has got away with it with no damage, and he's up into 11th place. J. Cole not quite able to work his way forwards like Campbell is, and Spag meanwhile has pitted, so he obviously picked up damage somewhere on the opening lap, so his pit stop won't count. As Zaunima going back up into 5th place after his poor start. He's watched his way past him, and Larkin's through as well. Where has Larkin come from? He's past Miami somewhere on this lap, and has passed Tim as well, so Tim looks like he might have made a mistake having run in 5th place, the best he's run all season it seems. He's made a little error it seems, and Zaunima and Larkin are through. Miami is the next to try and work his way through, and Campbell, having passed Freak, is flying along. He's closing in on Miami very, very quickly. The soft tyres looking strong on that Trident car. Let's see how far up the field he can get, but Larkin at the moment is the man on the move, up to 6th from 12th on the grid in 2 laps.
Has Zaunima in his sights as well. Larkin flying and trying to make up for that validation in qualifying. Needs to, with Toxic up in the lead of this race at the moment, and another fastest lap to put. He's now over 2 seconds clear in 2 laps. What a remarkable turn of pace this has been for the defending champion and the championship leader, cruising clear at the moment. It leads by 2.2. We're looking further back there. Are there any close battles? Jaco lighting up Philippe again there. They may go to battle yet again, but Jaco down the inside into 1, and this time he will complete a maneuver and move through into 11th place. And that's Freak now in his sights, looking to try and grab traction coming off turn 3, and almost running into the back of him is Freak. A little bit of traction issues. Let's see how that one unfolds there. Jaco getting right underneath him yet again, and we'll see now if he can try and complete it this time. Will he go round the outside towards turn 7? He has the line into the corner, breaks about the same point. Freak has to yield it, I think. Jaco squeezes him out and now Philippe getting up and alongside and almost through, but Freak breaking very, very late down the inside, puts him in the wall. There was contact between them. Philippe for the second time in 2 laps up against that wall, down the inside again, battling away. There's more contact. Philippe spears off to the side in the Arden. Absolute chaos down there, battling and wheelbanging. It's Tim going round now, heading down into the hairpin, and he's avoided by Miami, he's avoided by Campbell. It was such a good start and such a strong qualifying for the Yellow drivers, but they're now outside the points there. Tim going round behind Alex now. Disaster for the Univirtuosi car, and they are both now a long way off the back of the pack now.
That is such a shame. Running 5th and 6th in the early phases, now running 13th and 14th. The Freak has completely missed the corner coming down the back straight. He's obviously braked far too late and has missed the corner completely, so he's going to have to do a 5-point turn in the runoff area to try and get back round and onto the track. Back to the lead of the race. Toxic continues to lead. Look at his pace. 3.3 seconds clear after 3 laps. He's 1.1 seconds a lap faster on average at the moment as Philippe picks up a time penalty. That's the first one of the race so far. And I tell you what, Chill, despite wing damage, is flying along nicely. Verstappen's not closing in on him. It's actually Zaldimer and Larkin who are starting to close in on Verstappen. So Verstappen seemingly struggling a little bit for pace at the moment. And Chill, even with the front wing damage, is able to hold on to 3rd place for the time being. Is doing a good job, but I'm sure that those tyres will wear out a little bit quicker than the drivers behind him. Campbell on the move once again. He's right tucked up behind Miami after that spin now for Tim, and Tim is into the pit lane to replace his front wing. Campbell picks up a penalty as well on the way into turn 4, so gets it on the way into the corner, not midway through, but he's on the back of Miami. Can he get a move done? Down Raffles Boulevard and down towards turn 7. Is he close enough to make the move stick? He's kind of try go all the way around the outside of Miami. Miami gives him the space on the outside. Campbell drives clean around the outside, and Miami spins the car and hits the wall and is out of the session. What a shame for Miami. That wall sticks out on the exit of the corner. It just caught him out and he slid right into the wall. What could have been a top 8 finish, maybe a reverse grid pole for Miami, and he's the first retiree from this race. What a shame for Miami. But for Campbell, that's lit his race on fire, up into 7th place on those soft tyres that are running very nicely.
But he does have that penalty, don't forget. But he is certainly running up, and the tyres surely are going to start to favour him there. Further back down, further up the field, I should say. Larkin is still honing in on Zaudera, but hasn't found the move just yet. It was a fantastic start from Larkin, but the Dutchman is holding him at bay for the time being. Looks like Miami's car has been cleared, and there will not be, and he will not. Well, there will be a safety car basically brought out for that mistake. Again, Zaudema getting offline, and Larkin beginning to pressure him, but can't find a way through just yet. Chill is slowly dropping back from Matthias, and Larkin starting to come towards Zaudema, but also Verstappen closing up on QVR. Chill now is within DRS. Chill again, getting right up against the wall. Coming out of turn 21, and now Verstappen has DRS. Surely he can start to apply the pressure. Maybe, as you mentioned, the tyre wear is just starting to kick in now for QVR. Chill behind him. Oh, Larkin went into the back. That's front wing damage, I think, from the championship contender. Do you see that, Aidan?
Yeah, it's front wing damage coming into the pit lane. Downham had decided very late to go in the pit lane. I think he saw Larkin behind dive in and thought he'll do the same. And Larkin's been caught out by having to brake for the safety car line. What a shame for Larkin that he's picked up that front wing damage. Now he's getting his front tyres changed. What a disastrous stop. He was right tucked up behind Zaudema. He's going to be well off the back of him now, and he might drop a lot more places to the likes of Campbell and J. Cole when they come into the pit lane. What a shame for Larkin. It was looking so good for a top 5, and he drops right further down the field. Zaudema's already out of the pit exit, and Larkin's just going to leave the pit lane now, so he's dropped well off the back. What a shame for our championship protagonist, and he is now dropped well out of contention.
Is that potentially the beginning of the end for Larkin? He needs to find something extra, and he needs to hope now that Toxic has a disastrous run from here on out, but at the moment there's no signs of that. He is still pulling away, and a commensurate right now leads by 4.3 seconds after less than 5 laps in this race. He is still moving clear. Maybe the tyres starting to go off now, but he holds such a comfortable margin that you think that he's not under any sort of pressure. But of course he has thrown away easy victories before. He's just going to have to stay on his toes for Verstappen with a penalty, and is that going to put him at the mercy of losing out? Of course Campbell behind him also has a penalty, so it won't cost him too dearly right now, but he still has to try and get past QBR Chill, and will Chill himself go in and change the tyres to the pit stop. Verstappen is all over, but can't quite find a move just yet. Toxic stays out for another lap, but Matthias as well staying out. And of course, these guys are going to have to make the distance on these soft tyres, but Verstappen is coming to the pit lane looking for an undercut. I think that's a wise choice. If he can just get out in clean air, he can really start to use that to move away and maybe jump onto the podium through the pit stops.
Absolutely, and another thing to look out for is Zaldemar was obviously only 2 seconds behind him when he came in for his pit stop, so he's got to be aware that he doesn't want to get undercut by Zaldemar. Obviously the undercut around this track can be very powerful just by the length and the amount of corners this track has, so let's see where Verstappen comes out relative to Zaldemar. I think he should still be just ahead of him, but it's going to have shrunk the gap down quite a lot, and obviously Verstappen with the penalty puts Zaldemar right in play here for a possible podium, especially if Chill changes his front wing. So that's one thing to look out for. Zaldemar then coming down the pit straight, Verstappen going through the pit exit at turn 1, such a narrow pit exit here, so easy to pick up a penalty for running over the line. Zaldemar comes through turns 1 and 2, and the time will equalise as they come to the exit of the corner, and actually Zaldemar's not really gained any time whatsoever on Verstappen with that 1 lap fresher tyre, so Zaldemar in the end staying in a net P5 within penalty range and with Chill with the damage though, and if Chill doesn't chase that front wing and still comes out in front of Verstappen, Zaldemar's on for a podium here.
Yeah, if Verstappen may well get held up, he needs to try and make that undercut work, but Chill is struggling more and more, now running about 3.5 seconds shy of Jarell Matthias. He's coming up behind Ebbo, who has interestingly ran the last few laps on wet tyres. Does you well, but yeah, that's certainly not going to help him very much in this race. I'm expecting that most of the race leaders are going to be coming in at the end of this lap. We are getting to the point where these softs can probably make it, but it's interesting that they were struggling this early on. It may well be a bit of a stretch. We don't know how well the softs are going to run in comparison, but at the moment the super softs are already seemingly spent after about 5 or 6 laps. Toxic will stay out for another lap though. Maybe he's being wise to this. He still thinks there's more in them, and after we saw a few cars come in 2 laps ago, your race leader still out there as he heads on to lap 7.
Yeah, Matthias is the first of the top 3 to come into the pit lane, so he dives in, and I imagine Chill will be in as well. Yeah, Chill's into the pit lane as well, and I think Toxic maybe didn't come in because he didn't want to hold up his teammate any longer, so obviously Chill coming in means that he won't have to go out another lap with this damaged front wing and the older tyres all get held up in the pit lane. So Toxic stays out, and he has enough of a buffer really to get away with that as well. So I mean, he had a 6-second buffer by the time they came into the pit lane, so Toxic's lead at the moment very comfortable. Matthias is going to leave the pit lane in what should be a net P2. I mean, we talk about Toxic's dominant drive, but what a debut performance this has been so far for Matthias. I don't want to curse him just yet, but running in a comfortable second place, not under pressure from Chill or Verstappen behind. He slightly touches the wall there on the inside of the pit exit, but gets away with it. He comes out of the pit lane just clear of Verstappen, so Verstappen actually, his undercut was massive. Look at the amount of time he's gained on Matthias in that 1 lap. He was 2 places behind him on track and nearly 3 seconds back, and is now within DRS range of the Carlin driver.
Now Matthias is going to have to be looking over his shoulder more so than before and try and bait off Verstappen to maintain that second position. Chill lost out hugely in the pit stops. He didn't change his front wing, but he still lost out massively and now runs behind Excel Zonua. So yeah, looks like the tyres were really starting to go off, and the drivers behind, like Verstappen and Zonua, were hugely gaining. So we'll see now how everything's going to be affected. Larkin still runs down there in 9th place, about 8 seconds behind QBR Chile. Will surely be quicker as he has a full car underneath him. We do have yellows up there. I think that is Ebo who's getting out of the way once again. So he's going to get out of the way very nicely there. As Chell picks up a penalty, and if Larkin get up to him, maybe that'll be a place. But Larkin certainly could be on the back foot here. Matthias has come up behind. It's Cyril Jordan. Moves up to the outside, heading down into the third sector. Trying to swing around the outside and does so. Matthias, a super move, and now Verstappen is going to try and follow through. He looks towards the outside, heading down at turn 16 now. He's going to have to try and find that gap as he goes wheel to wheel now through 17. Round outside Verstappen for 5th place. Yes, he gets through. That was a super move, and the Jordan had to get out of that one. His tires are starting to fade now. 6 laps on them. Verstappen got through. Matthias got through. Matthias, though, has broken the DRS quickly. He's toxic now through the pit lane, and he will surely emerge back in that race lead.
Verstappen had to get that move done so that he couldn't get Matthias. Couldn't get out the road far enough, but even so, Matthias has been able to do it in that final sector. A great final sector from Matthias. He's gapped Verstappen massively, and he might just be safe at this point. Toxic comes out of the pit lane, and look at that. Toxic lost about 2 seconds to Matthias in his pit stop, but he had such a big buffer at that point in the race that it didn't matter anyway. So he still comes out in the net race lead, 3.9 seconds clear of Matthias, and he's obviously got Campbell and J. Cole still out on the track. They have not pitted as of yet onto the super soft tyres. I have to wait and see what speed they have when they put the super soft tyres on, but the running order at the moment is Toxic first, Matthias second, Verstappen on the podium, and Zalnmer and Chill battling for 4th at the moment, with Larkin trying to close in on them.
Yeah, they are getting held up by Cyril Jordan. Of course, we'll see if Zalnmer and Chill were as effective as Matthias and Verstappen were in that battle a lap or so ago. We see Jordan struggling a little bit there and running almost towards the wall, heading through turn 9. So now Zalnmer beginning to reel him in and look for any sort of overtaking opportunities as they head round. Look at him getting right onto his rear wing. And as well, Chill is reining them both in and looking for any sort of error from Zalnmer, trying to get an overtake done. He will have DRS heading down the back straight, heading in a turn 14, so he's got to try and get this one done now. DRS is open and Chill is right there as well, so to the outside goes Zalnmer. Jordan sees him coming, breaks earlier and Chill into the back of him. Zalnmer locks up, runs wide, Chill gets underneath there, contact with Jordan, and back comes Zalnmer. They're almost 3 abreast. Chill gets out of it there, Jordan still in front, round the outside now, goes Zalnmer, now in a turn 17 has the inside line and will get through just about after a mistake. He recovers and now runs in 6th place. QVR Chill has to try and follow him through if he wants a chance of snatching that back. Toxic with a penalty. He has to be careful now, but he still looks in control of this one, but we still have about half the race ahead of us there. Jordan now with a penalty. Chill bearing down on him, heading into turn 22, gets right onto his rear wing now. DRS will be open this time. He goes down the outside through the tiniest of gaps to slip through. I think he went off the track, but Chill will finally get up into 7th place, get it stopped for turn 1. He can try and chase back on Zalnmer with that wing damage. Messy from Chill, but he's able to get through. What a roller coaster of a race he's having.
That was crazy battling. I don't know how on earth Zalnmer A kept that out of the wall, and B turned that into an overtake. He was so late on the brakes into that corner and nearly missed the corner completely, but still was able to get past Jordan. Jordan on those older soft compound tyres really struggling for pace. He's dropping like a stone at the moment, and Larkin has gained at least 2 seconds on the 2 drivers in front of him in all of that battling. And remember, Chill has a time penalty along with his damage, so that all brings Larkin back into play once again. We've also got to keep an eye out on Campbell and J. Cole as to where they come out of this race. They should come out behind Larkin, but in a lot of clean air when they do come out on those super soft tyres. Toxic then with the time penalty. Matthias with the fastest lap, but you can already see on this lap alone, Toxic is trying to steal that fastest lap back off of the Carlin driver. And after that brief little moment where Matthias was under a little bit of pressure, he's cleared off into the distance. Verstappen just can't keep the same pace as Matthias anymore.
Yeah, 1 lap fresher tyres clearly making a huge difference, and Verstappen cannot live with him at the moment. Has an extra penalty. Matthias looks pretty good and pretty set over 2nd place if he doesn't make any major errors. We're waiting for your top 2 to come into the pit lane. Spag already went in a few laps or so ago, I should say, and is now in 12th place, but a long way off the back after a disaster on the first lap. So Campbell and Jaco still lead the way. Toxic is closing in. It is a large pit lane loss, so expect him to come out, as you mentioned, behind somewhere in that region between Larkin and Alex, unsure of exactly where it will emerge them. But yeah, you see fast slap from Toxic. He is flying still. We're 5 seconds clear, even with the penalty. If he doesn't make any major errors, Toxic looks certain to have yet another race win. And with Larkin down in 9th place at the moment, could be a huge step towards the championship now. It's beginning to come back to Toxic yet again. We have another trade building up here. Chell has got past, got back in to Zenima's DRS region. Now Larkin will be the next driver to try and attack Jordan now. Can he get the run? Heading down on the outside towards turn 5 there. Jordan gives him the space. Right on the outside goes Larkin. They almost come together, but on the outside the DRS and the momentum will be with Larkin for race there. The championship contender doing everything that he can muster up. He now runs in 8th place there. He's clear Jordan now. Spag a penalty. I don't think that's going to really affect things. But Larkin now runs 8th. He'll probably get up to 6th through the pit stops. Then we'll see if he can try and hold on to it with a charge that Campbell and Jacob will put onto him.
That was a decisive move from Larkin. He had to get that move done as well. Obviously, we saw that Zaldimer and Chill took quite a while to get past Jordan. Larkin was up behind Jordan and passed him almost immediately. So we got that done nice and quickly. And look at how much Jordan's already dropped in one sector alone. 1.5 seconds back. Those tyres have reached the end of their life. And that's another thing to look out for as well. The pace at the moment for Campbell and J. Cole, those two are very similar. Toxic on the last lap, I think, was nearly 2 seconds faster than the pair of them. So those soft tyres have gone off the edge of the cliff at this point. And Toxic was a second faster than Matthias on the previous lap as well. So it's Toxic's pace along with the elderly tyres that Campbell and J. Cole are running on. They're really at the end of their life. And Campbell's decided to come into the pit lane. So he was our race leader. He's into the pit lane. J. Cole stays out for another lap. So he's going to continue on. Campbell into the pit. So this is crucial for his race. Where does he come out? He's in that battle right for that reverse grid pole position as Toxic sets another fastest lap of 53.2. That's over a second clear of anyone else's fastest lap in this race. That's incredible pace from him. Campbell then onto the super soft tyres. He now leaves the pit lane. Where does he come out? Verstappen drives past him then. Zaldimer is going to be the next car to drive past him. Then it'll be Chill. Then it'll be Larkin. Can he get out ahead of Larkin, I wonder? He's going to be quite close actually. Larkin might be able to sweep his way around, and I think Alex might have spun the car meanwhile in the third sector. And actually Campbell, after Larkin's front wing change and that slow pit stop, Campbell's actually been able to jump Larkin in all of this. Just about. Larkin trying to get the move done through turn 3, but Campbell's just going to hold on to it. That is great for Campbell's race. He's got 5.6 seconds of clean air in front of him to catch Zaldimer and Chill. Zaldimer struggling for pace and Chill with front wing damage. Could be easy meat for Campbell.
We'll see now. He's managed to put enough on Larkin going through turn 5 that he's not worried heading into turn 7, and now he can try and make the most of it. 5 seconds to make up. Little lock up, but he has the tyres underneath him now, and he can really start to put on a show, put on a charge in the closing laps of this race. Looks like maybe 5th is the highest he can hope for, but he is certainly going to be on that charge. There is no doubt about that. So, as actually close battle on track between Spag and Alex. Spag able to get ahead, heading through turn 1. Chill is still doing a remarkable job, I must say, of keeping pace with XL Zenima, but cannot quite find a way through just yet. Their damage certainly holding back. I think Chill had a lot of potential in this race, really, but ultimately the damage cost them a chance of a podium, at least as it stands right now. Interestingly, Verstappen is starting to come back towards Matthias. I'm not sure if Matthias
has broken his front wing.
He's got front wing damage. I just clocked that. So now, just a second away, has Matthias on his debut. He was looking at a certain second place here, but has that cost him? Look at the rate that Verstappen is closing him down there. Matthias will try and stay out and bring that home to the end of the race, but it is major damage. And Verstappen now goes onto the back of him to the inside. Surely this is easy pickings now. Verstappen down the inside is up in a second place. I can surely walk away now. And so, as Jacob comes to the pit lane, he'll give that up. Matthias, a critical error, now runs in third place. And with the magnitude of that damage, he can find himself at the mercy of Zerno, Chill, and maybe even Campbell near the end of the race if he's not careful.
That is such a shame. I clocked a load of debris coming into the third sector out of that corner after the third DRS straight. I thought maybe a lapped car might have spun, or maybe that was from when Alex went off the road a lap ago. But no, it was Matthias from a comfortable second place. I looked up at the timing screens and saw that he was 9.5 seconds down on Toxic. I thought Toxic's pace was fast, but not that fast, and just checked on Matthias and had that front wing damage. What a shame. Such a great debut race for him with a lot of front wing damage, and he's got 5 laps to go around the longest time in terms of time, the the longest track of the season. So he's got a long way to go in this race, and Zaldimer, Chill and Campbell and Larkin really all started to close in. And remember, J. Cole as well on the freshest tyres. He's 5.3 seconds behind Larkin. That's where he came out. So Larkin definitely is under pressure from J. Cole behind. If J. Cole could start to use the speed he has on the super softs to close in on Larkin. Chill is under pressure from Campbell. Campbell is closing in at quite a rapid rate. It was 5.5 seconds when he came out the pits, and in a lap and a half it's down to 3. So Campbell is absolutely flying, and he's closing on the back of Chill and Zaldimer, who are both going to close in on Matthias with massive front wing damage.
Matthias is going to be on the defensive, but how much of a defence can he actually apply and try and keep the drivers behind at bay? He is rapidly being reeled in. His damage is far more severe than what Chill has on his car. Chill is still able to run at a fairly solid pace with the minor damage that he has on his front wing, but Matthias is compromised. He is at least 4 seconds a lap slower, I think, than he otherwise would have been, and that is going to lead surely to the cars behind rapidly reeling him in. Matthias is going to really struggle to hang on to even get a strong points finish at this point. Zaldimer is 1.5 seconds away already, and look at Campbell, fastest lap. It's not that much quicker than what Toxic set, but it is far quicker than everyone around him at the moment. He is lapping about 2 seconds a lap quicker than the two drivers in front, who in turn several seconds quicker as Matthias picks up a penalty as well on the entry to turn 5, and now Zaldimer is right on him. So here we go now, they are all converging, they are all coming together with about 5 laps to go here in this race. Matthias surely has nothing to fight with. Excel Zaldimer now, half a second away. I can just get this done throughout the remainder of the lap, but he has to be careful because this will allow Chill to maybe have a run at him on this lap. So he's going to have to be wary, Zaldimer. He's going to have to do this while defending from the ever-imposing QVR Chill, who sits on his rear wing. So Matthias now running very, very wide, heading through 10, and now Zaldimer lining him up. Is he going to go for it at turn 13? It seems ambitious, it seems almost impossible, and he will back out of it, but Chill is still looking at an inside line. Now, coming over turn 13, Matthias does get a very good exit. Look at Campbell as well, he's right there with him. Zaldimer has not done enough here. He's not going to challenge him heading into the airbin, and now QVR Chill is pushing him, going around the braking zone. He will still set it behind, but Matthias is doing everything in his power to keep them behind. Surely he can't do it. And is that rain I'm starting to see now? What on earth is going on?
I think that is raining. I thought I saw a little drop of rain. I thought it was a graphical glitch on my end, but no, it is. It's raining all of a sudden at Singapore with 3 laps to go. Could this race get any crazier than it's already been? I don't know how on earth Matthias Toxic picks up his second penalty. That's not going to cost him at all in this race. How on earth has Matthias been able to run a full lap and not lose a place with that amount of damage? But surely here, Zaldimer's going to duck up the inside, and Chill's there as well. And Campbell runs right into the back of Chill there. They were so slow through turns 22 and 23. The Campbell ran straight to the back of Chill. I think Campbell got away with it, but that's from no places in 1 lap to 3 places down the pit straight. Matthias drops from 3rd down to 6th, and Larkin and Jacob are there to close in as well. But as the rain starts to fall, this puts even more advantage onto Campbell, who has the softer compound tyres that are younger than both of the drivers in front. Oh yeah, and he's broken his front wing again. Oh, and he slides the car, so it couldn't get worse. And look at Campbell all over the road. It looks like it's raining quite heavily because they're really struggling for grip, and Chill even more damage than he already had. Campbell's going to look down the inside. That's incredibly late on the brakes, but Chill just about leaves him space. But Chill with the damage surely can't fight this one too hard. Campbell's going to try and go all the way around the outside at the next corner, keeps it just out of the wall when he's going to pull that one off. That's a brilliant move from Campbell against a damaged Chill. He goes down the inside and is up into 4th place. What a comeback this has been from Campbell when he's only 0.8 of a second off of a podium here. What a drive from Campbell it's been, as Chill now running. He was running so well with the damage he had. It's got even worse for him, and he's going to continue to fall. And another penalty for Chill as well. Matthias is still there, and Larkin's now right on the back of Matthias, and so is J. Cole all of a sudden. So there's loads of drivers all battling for this P3 at the moment. It's all Constantinoing up. Zada holds a bit at the moment, but surely he can't hold on against Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell, it's seeming like inevitability he was going to get through it even more so. Campbell is struggling, I've noticed, with the wet conditions. He's sliding considerably out of most of the traction zones, but he can just try and hold that together, and he will have that 3rd place. He does have to pull away though, remember. He does still have a penalty. Zaldimer, as I suspect, is very, very clean. As Larkin right on Matthias, look at this! Going through the 1st sector, it's so narrow here. Surely he can't find a place to overtake, but the last corner, Matthias is damage is going to give him absolutely no downforce to try and keep the championship contender behind, and Jekyll is right there to pounce as well. So even though now Larkin gets alongside and through, he runs in 6th place now, and surely Jekyll will challenge soon after. Look at Campbell, he is right there with Zenoma, but another penalty, and how much is that's going to cost him? As long as Zenoma holds him up for as long as he can. Now Jekyll traumatises as well further back down the grid, but I am watching back there at QBR Campbell, looking at 3rd place. He has a mammoth task to try and pull away now with 6 seconds of penalties. Zenoma can try and hold him back for as long as he can. We have just under 3 laps left there, and Zenoma tries to cover the line, but down the inside goes QBR Campbell in a turn 7 down. For Zenoma, right outside, gets forced off the track by Campbell. He was not messing around now, was not lying down, and through goes QBR Campbell, and look at Jekyll now, again attacking Larkin. These two are old friends, but that is not going to stop them from sharing a battle, going at it out on track. Larkin in 2nd, but can he hold on to this one? Jekyll underneath, and a turn 9 there, tucks back into the slipstream, back to the inside, doesn't go for it on the brakes. He's not going to go for a move of that magnitude. Just about sets out behind Matthias now in 8th there. How is this race falling apart in just a matter of laps now? But the closest battle on track is between Larkin and XL. Jekyll coming off of turn 13. Larkin does get a good exit there, fighting for grip, getting everything out of those 9.5 lap old soft tires. He will hold on in front of Jekyll, but surely that's just a matter of time. Less than 3 laps to go. The race is far from over. Camel now a second clears out of it. Can he possibly pull 6 seconds in these last 2 laps?
He's going to have to hope for the impossible, which is Zaldama getting a penalty. We never see it, and yet again he's so consistent, running in 4th place, well within penalty range of Campbell to steal back that 3rd place. Chill somehow, even with the even more damage he's got, is doing a great job of holding on to 5th, but surely Larkin and Jekyll are going to be crawling all over the back of him, especially at this last corner. He's going to lose heaps of time with the amount of front wing that he's lost. He comes through the corner 1.4 seconds ahead. By the exit of the corner, it's down to 1.3, make that 1.2 on the exit, so they're continuing to close in, make that 1.1 as they head towards the first corner. So Chill is really being reeled in now by Larkin and Jekyll, and Jekyll's race has come alive, and Larkin now picks up a penalty on the inside of turn 1. So another driver with a penalty, and surely that's going to give advantage to Jekyll, who I don't know if he has a penalty or not. I don't think he does. But Jekyll running in 7th place. What a comeback from him after a disastrous qualifying and not quite having the same pace as Campbell. He's working his way through as everyone else in front of him seems to be throwing a good race opportunity away. And obviously looking at the front of the field as well, we've got to have an eye on the top 2. Verstappen still runs in 2nd, well clear of his teammate Campbell, who now runs 3rd. But look at the lead that Toxic has. 18.5 seconds, obviously helped by Matthias picking up his front wing damage, but even so, Verstappen is an incredibly fast driver, and there is no one that can match Toxic today.
And it's just an incredible show of pace and consistency in a critical time in the championship for Toxic MML. I will mention Jekyll does have a penalty, same as Larkin. So, and I believe Chill has at least 1. I think he has at least 2 actually. So, Chill is going to be at the mercy of losing these positions as well then, because Larkin and Jekyll are now swarming all over him. Jekyll has not been able to make a move on Larkin throughout this last lap. He's still right there with him and almost losing it, coming over turn 13. Chill now, still holding on for all of his worth, maintains 5th position. It's been a great damage limitation drive from Chill, but for how much longer can he hold on to this there? Larkin swarming over his rear wing, but it is such a difficult track to overtake at in Singapore. These guys are going through the last sector. Toxic is now on to his final tour of the Marina Bay circuit. What a drive this has been for the back to the field. Alex has gone off spinning. It's not a crash. It will not be any late drama with any potential safety cars. It wouldn't be anyways, I must say. But we're looking at this enthralling battle over 5th place. Here we go now. Over the line to start the final lap. Chill surely down on downforce there. Larkin gets held up and Jekyll closes in. So here we go now. Larkin makes a mistake. And now XL Jekyll laning him up. Maybe towards the outside of the turn 1. Larkin covers the line. Jekyll lay on the brakes. Trying to go round the outside of the championship container. Make contact. Larkin squeezes him off the road. Just about maintaining 6th place. He is desperate for this, but still cannot find a way through a QBR. Chill. What a remarkable piece of defensive driving. They head now on to the back straight there. Chill doesn't get a great run. Coming through 5. DRS still open in these wet conditions, but Larkin now lining him up through turn 6. He closes to the inside of turn 7 now, but Chill breaks incredibly late. Can he get it stopped? Can he get it turned in? He runs a little bit wide, but he will keep that, and Jago gets a penalty behind. Looking at Larkin. Larkin looks like he'll get this on penalties anyway, but Chill still holding on. Larkin looking left and right, but cannot get through as we have half a lap to go. But Toxic is already in the final sector. What a drive this has been.
He's utterly dominated from start to finish, and on the last lap alone, he's gained 2 seconds on Verstappen. He continues to just drive away at the front of the field. The pace he's had, even on these soft tyres, Campbell's obviously got the fastest lap, but only by about half a tenth of a second. Toxic is at least seconds a lap faster than everyone else at the moment. What a dominant drive it's been, even in the wet conditions. His freak in front of him spins coming through the final sector, but Toxic has not put a foot wrong. It's been a masterful drive, and I would say, of all the dominant races we've seen so far, that is the most dominant race victory from Toxic all season long. He rounds turns 22 and 23 to come across the line and win yet another feature race, and continues to extend his championship lead by a massive margin. Philippe finishes in 13th, a lap down at Singapore. That's how dominant Toxic was. Verstappen, a very lonely race in the end, will come through to second place, and that helps him in that battle with his teammate Campbell for that third place in the championship. Verstappen comes around the final 2 corners 21.5 seconds behind Toxic. It obviously drops to 18 on penalties. Campbell will cross the line in third, but Zaldimar's done a great job to stick to the back of him in these final few laps in the wet conditions. Campbell crosses the line third, but Zaldimar will take third on the podium. Great podium result for him, and our podium predictions were bang on. Chill's going to cross the line in 5th place, but Larkin will take 5th on penalties. But what a shame that race could have been so much better for Larkin without the invalidation in qualifying and without the damage before the pit stop. That race could have been so much better for him, and he continues to lose to Toxic in the championship standings. J. Cole 6th, Chill 7th, and Matthias pits on the last lap. He actually lost his front wing entirely on that last lap, which is such a shame to see. Could have been coming home for a second place finish, most likely would have come home with a second place finish in that one, but the silver lining for him is that he will start on reverse grid fold for the sprint race. Tim will be the next person to cross the line in 9th place. The field's so spread out around this track. He had a great start, but unfortunately a spin for him early on cost him an opportunity at battling for that reverse grid pole position. Spag will be the next to cross the line in 10th, ahead of Alex in 11th and Jordan in 12th place, and he's missing a lot of his front wing as well. What a chaotic race, and in the end Toxic comes home with a dominant win, and surely that's one hand on the trophy now.
He's going to be, I think, at the very least 40 points clear now in the championship standings. That is an awful long way to fight back, especially this late in the season. So it's looking more and more likely that he may well end up defending his title. It wasn't looking that way through most of the season, but Toxic has turned it all around, turned it all on its head going through these last few rounds. And yeah, he now looks to be relatively dominant. We still have 5 rounds after this, but at this point, it's going to take an awful lot to go wrong for Toxic ML, who continues to dominate the field in the feature races. And with the pace that he showed there, I don't think it's improbable that he may well get maximum points. We will see, of course, but Toxic looks imperious tonight.
He really does, yeah, and with obviously the long sprint race we're going to have, like you say, it is possible that Toxic could come in with a double win at Singapore of all tracks. That would be brilliant to see, but Matthias will start on reverse grid pole, and he was the only one that could lap within a second of Toxic in the race lead. So Matthias in a great position, despite obviously losing his front wing. He'll be gutted to miss out on a podium in a feature race, but the silver lining is, like I said, he will be on reverse grid pole for the sprint race. So we'll wait and see what he can do, but yet again, another dominant victory for Toxic MML in this championship, and Larkin languishing down in 5th means that the championship is swung massively in Toxic's favour, especially over the last few rounds. He wins. Verstappen in 2nd place, again a solid drive from him, but just didn't have the pace to match the drivers in front of him at the start. Zaldimar on the podium, ever the most consistent driver it seems, 5th in the championship, seems pretty much secure for him as well now in this one. He's massively gapped the likes of Chill and Pease in the standings after that round. Campbell in 4th place ahead of Larkin in 5th. J. Cole crosses the line in 6th. Campbell and Larkin both had very good races from the back of the field on the alternative strategy, but in the end couldn't get much more because of penalties. Chill 7th, damage limitation race for him. He had a lot of potential, but it didn't work out for him, but he'll start on the front row alongside Matthias for the sprint race. Tim 9th, a good race for him in the end despite the early spin. Spag in 10th, Alex in 11th ahead of Jordan 12th, Freak Funk in 13th, Philippe 14th, Ibbo 15th, and Miami our only DNF in 16th. What could have been for him as well, running in those top 5 positions after a contact at turn 7, though he spun off the road. So unfortunately Miami not able to finish, but the sprint race shaping up to be a pretty tasty one.
Certainly. And yeah, very much looking forward to that one yet again. Sprint race at Singapore, as you mentioned, probably the longest sprint race on the calendar. Hardly even feels like a sprint race, but we will still get that underway. We do very much need to decide some more points for our drivers. We'll see if Toxic is able to extend it or if Larkin can claw something back from this round. It's seemingly in a championship fight. It has been one-way traffic for some time now. Can Larkin possibly turn it around? He'll start and on the second row of the grid, has something to fight with. And I'm interested to see how Matthias does. We saw the pace that he has. Now he has an opportunity with a mistake-free race. He may well be the only person that could stop Toxic's reign of terror here.
He really could, and Chill maybe as well. We'll wait and see what Prema do with their two drivers. I imagine that if Toxic comes up behind Chill, Chill will probably just let Toxic through because that's how it's been pretty much all season long. But Chill, despite the damage in the first race, had brilliant pace and was holding on to third for a long time in that one. So who knows what he could do in this race as well if he keeps it clean on that opening lap. Start of the sprint race, everyone will be on the soft compound tyres, and I think this might be a 12-lap race if I remember correctly. We have to wait and see when they all get onto the grid for the formation lap. But like I said, Matthias on pole ahead of Chill in second, J. Cole third, and Larkin fourth. Great for Carl in this one. This is their best joint start of the season, I would say, in any race they've had, first and third. And J. Cole had good pace as well, so not out of the question that any of these top three could come home with a good result.
Oh yes, certainly. And we'll see if they're able to try and hold on to that one. I want to mention quickly, usually we see everyone in the sprint races starting on the harder compound tyres. This time it is a soft tyre. But we have Freak Frog and Philippe, who are both on the super soft tyre from this race. I'm not sure, because I was under the impression that you couldn't actually change that willingly. But nevertheless, Freak Frog and Philippe are going to be on super softs to start this race, and those tyres I don't think can make the race distance. We'll see, but that is rather bizarre to see and very different to what we usually come across in these sprint races.
I'm wondering whether maybe they had maybe pitted twice in the feature race, maybe for damage, and that meant they went on to 2 sets of soft compound tyres, and because of that it started them on super softs because they technically don't have any soft compound tyres left to start this race. So I'm wondering whether that's the case for Freak and Philippe. That's why they're starting on the super softs, so they're going to have to make a stop in this race. But who knows, we don't know how much these soft tyres are going to degrade. Remember, we're in a bit more daylight for the sprint race as well, so the track temperature will be a little bit higher and it may affect tyre wear just a little bit more than it did in the first one. And we saw how quickly the pace really drops on the tyres. Apart from Toxic, everyone was dropping at least a second, maybe 2 seconds a lap by the end of their stint.
Yeah, of course. This will be a rather different affair for most of the grid. The soft tyre should hold up a little bit better. We will see, of course, and we'll have a look and see how the grid is going to shake up here. I'm very intrigued to see Toxic try and bite his way through, particularly at a track where overtaking is rather difficult. Can Matthias and Chill, who both got damage in that feature race, maybe turn things around to try and convert those front row stars? Since I'm now the one speaking, I'm going to turn the tables on you this time, Aiden. What is your top 3 prediction for this sprint race here at Singapore?
I'm going to go for Matthias. I think Matthias could pull this race off. I think with a good start like he had in the first race, I think with all the battling we'll see behind, I think he could clear off into the distance. So I think I'm going to go for Matthias for race victory. I'm going to go for Toxic in second place. And third place in this race, I'm going to go for Larkin. I think Larkin will finish this one in third.
Very logical. We'll see if it all works out in the end. We nailed the first one. Can we nail this race here tonight? It'll be a go against our track records, but anything can happen in Grand Prix racing on or off the track. So we'll see how that all unfolds there. Now they all begin to line up on the front of the grid and the rear. Matthias on pole position. Can he convert that? Here we go. 5 lights. And we are away. They got away quickly. The light set and away goes Matthias from the line there. Chow trying to get alongside him. Heading for turn 1. It was a great start from QBR Chow. They're going for the race lead in turn 1 there. They are wheel to wheel now. Through turn 1 and 2. But still, Chow holds the inside line. Runs him out wide and goes through into the race leader there. Matthias now under pressure from his teammate Jekyll now, who almost runs into the back of him. Heading into turn 5 there. The order stays about the same there. Chow just about maintains it there. Jekyll was a little bit sideways coming over 5 and out. Campbell and Larkin are bearing down them. Heading into turn 7 there. Campbell down the inside. Late break gets up and alongside. Jekyll forces him out wide. And can he complete that maneuver there? Larkin trying to get up and alongside. Jekyll still on the inside line of Campbell. Campbell, but Campbell will get that line down in a turn 9 and complete it surely there. Jacob trying everything, but he's lost out on the exit, and now Larkin gets up alongside and through surely in a turn 10. He now runs forward, he runs into the back of Campbell to make contact. Up alongside goes Jacob, goes through Larkin running into the back.
Well, I think we just lost you there. Daka. I think your mic just went. But yeah, Larkin running right into the back of Campbell, coming through the Singapore. Crucial mistake for Larkin. That means that Campbell has now dropped down to 7th place. He was running in 3rd after a great start. He's looking down the inside of Toxic. He's trying to get some of those places back. There might be a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. Toxic leaves in the space on the inside. Campbell can't get the run on the exit of the corner, so Campbell stays in 7th place. What a shame for him, though. Had a great start, but Larkin took that away by running into the back of it. Larkin's got away with no damage, but that might be an investigation. But meanwhile, out in front, Chill continues to lead with Matthias in 2nd, but they're now, after all that battling, 2 seconds clear of J. Cole in 3rd place.
I'm back. Sorry, apologies everyone for that, but yeah, that was, again, just uncharacteristic. I don't know what's going on with Larkin these last few rounds, but he's just making mistakes that we didn't see from him at the start of the season. Verstappen is under pressure from Toxic now. Toxic gets underneath him, heading in at turn 23, but has to turn back and there's something to do, almost like contact down the straight. Verstappen speared to the side, and just about kept it on. Philippe is going out. He's retired in the pit lane, I believe, and will not see out this race, unfortunately. So he is going to have to settle for no points here in this sprint race. Up at the front now, I'm looking for Chill. He's really ran away with this one at the moment there. He leads from Matthias. Shaco holding on to that 3rd place. Zanima trying to pile on the pressure in that battle there. He's on the back of Campbell as the timings can finally try and sort themselves out. Please, thank you very much. I am looking for any battles out there. But yeah, Toxic, a decent enough start. He now runs behind Verstappen still. Larkin on Jaco. But is there going to be an investigation on Larkin said after that mistake from Campbell? Campbell lost out hugely from that, and surely he's going to be very angry with that. Campbell compromised, and will he go Larkin? Maybe an investigation on his head, and Larkin's situation looks even more dire in this championship, especially as Toxic is now starting to close up on him now. He's just got Verstappen between them, and then Toxic has a clear run at his championship. However, he's going to the inside! Wow, he just about got out of that one. He must have outbraked himself and nearly ran into him. Verstappen just about managed to give him enough space to operate. Toxic was able to get it stopped, but yeah, that's very just looking like a pretty poor situation for Larkin. If he can't get through on Jaco at least, then he is so compromised because Toxic is closing down on him, and at the moment the championship just swings further and further towards the defending champion.
Yeah, and he's looking for any way through on Verstappen at the moment at any corner on the track. And meanwhile, I don't know what on earth has happened to Campbell's pace. He had a great pace at the start of the race, but now all of a sudden he's sliding all over the place. And Zauderer and Tim are now all over the back of him. Campbell really struggling for grip here. Miami from last on the grid's up to 11th place, so he's working his way forwards into the top 10. Maybe top 10 get points in the sprint race in this championship. So he's looking for something to salvage this race. It's been such a disaster so far tonight for Miami, and he's looking for any way past Alex into the top 10. Toxic once again going for a move on Verstappen, this time down the inside at turn 1. They don't make contact this time around, I don't think. Verstappen, I think, might have had to miss turn 2 ever so slightly, but Toxic's going to get the move done this time round. Toxic is up into 5th place. He passes Verstappen. Verstappen can't quite come back in him, but Verstappen will have DRS coming out of turn 5 and down Raffles Boulevard. So, is he close enough to try and retake that place off of Toxic? Toxic, though, got a brilliant run out of turn 5 and up towards turn 6. I don't think Verstappen is going to be close enough. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. I think that might be for Jordan, who looks like he's had a little bit of a spin maybe. Oh no, that might have been Freak actually, my mistake. It wasn't Jordan. Jordan's a bit further back, but Verstappen not able to come back at Toxic. Toxic up into 5th place, so he's steadily working his way forwards, but at the moment he's not worked his way forwards quickly enough to really challenge the top 2.
Yeah, we'll see if he can try and make up for it. But yeah, 3 seconds there between Jaco and Matthias. And Matthias is getting right back towards KVR Chill. He's not letting that one get away, but the top 2 running fairly considerably up the front of the race. Can they get through this race cleanly this time? Jaco now under pressure from Larkin. The tables have flipped from the last race, and surely now Larkin could look at trying to get away through, heading towards 14 there, but he sits back for the time being, doesn't want to go for anything too ambitious. And XL Jaco maintains that 3rd position, and he started the race, and now running considerably. But look at Larkin then, he's hounding him, he's looking for any way through, and he leads to at the very least outscore Toxic. But Toxic is within DRS and closing fast, and surely now we may have a run at Larkin further down the line. So now looking at this battle still. Jacob maintains third place as they come through over the line. Matthias on Chill as well, but Jacob isn't making any inroads, and if he has to go in the defensive from Larkin, that's going to cost them both further back, and maybe, just maybe, Chill and Matthias can move forward and really control this race, but Matthias still chasing down Chill onto lap 4 then. He has a real run at trying to grab the race lead from the QVR driver.
Look how quickly Toxic has caught Larkin. It was 1.5 seconds at the start of the lap when he was passing Verstappen. He's already down to half a second. He's flying along. He's right on the back of Larkin, but here's the problem for Toxic now is that Larkin in front has DRS to help himself defend. So this one's going to be a bit more difficult for Toxic to make the move. He's going to have to try and find somewhere else to go for it. Miami picks up a time penalty in his battle with Alex. Those two have become a little bit detached from the Q cars in front, but Toxic in 5th now, trying to work his way past his championship rival. But Toxic surely is going to have the speed to get past him. Larkin stuck a little bit behind Jacob. Jacob's pace isn't bad, so he's not really slow compared to the top two, but the battling that they had at the start really gapped them. Matthias, though, all of a sudden is all over the back of Chill. I don't know if Chill is starting to overheat his tyres, whether Matthias was just backing off, and Chill really wide. Coming onto the Anderson Bridge, can Matthias sneak and move up the inside of the hairpin? He's not close enough on the brakes, but again, Chill very late on the brakes into the corner. Gets it stopped somehow, but Matthias looking for the run out of the corner. Gets a lot of wheel spin on the exit. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. Coming down into the next corner, he has a little look, but he's not quite close enough to make the move stick. But Matthias looking more comfortable at this point. He's going to want to try and get the move done before Toxic clears the two drivers in front of him, so that he can have at least a car between himself and Toxic when he gets into 3rd place, if he gets into 3rd place. But Larkin continuing to swarm all over Jaco. Jaco himself a little bit wide there, but gets away with it. Toxic having a look up the inside of Larkin into the corner under the grandstand, but just not enough room there. Verstappen in behind him as well, losing pace with the three drivers in front. Campbell's losing pace. Zaunerman's still all over the back of Campbell. When Tim, shout out to Tim, this has been his most confident race of the season so far, sticking to the back of Zaunerman in 9th place, so he's doing a very good job in that Uni Virtuosi car. But is Larkin close enough this time round to Jaco? He's starting to ride up behind him, coming down towards turn 1. He has a look, but again, he's not confident enough on the brakes to go for that late move, so he stays in behind. He's going to have to go for a move out of turn 5, otherwise Toxic is ready to pounce and go for a move himself. Can he get the run coming out of turn 5 and down Ruffers Boulevard? Matthias, meanwhile, at the front of the field, not quite close enough to Chill to make a move stick himself, although I say that, Chill might have made a mistake coming out the corner, so Matthias is going to try and go for the lead here, coming down Ruffers Boulevard down towards turn 7. Is he close enough? Is he late on the brakes? Not quite, but in the background Larkin swings to the inside line for turn 7, and he's going to get the move done on Jaco. Is he? Jaco's going to try and hold it all the way around the outside. That's great defensive driving from Jaco, and he looks like he's going to hang on to it. Larkin continues to try and find his way around the outside for the next corner, and he's going to get the move done on Toxic. Trying to get through as well, makes wheel-to-wheel contact with Jaco, forces his way through, but Toxic capitalises on that battle, gets up to 4th, trying to get past Larkin as well down towards the Singapore Sling, but he's not close enough there, so he's going to try and make a move, maybe coming out of the hairpin after the Anderson Bridge. But Jaco, valiant defence, but in the end Larkin and Toxic, just the faster drivers, able to work their way through. Can Toxic now get a run out of turn 13 and down the back straight? Is he close enough? Larkin a little bit wide on the exit. Toxic's got a brilliant run coming down this straight. He's so confident on traction, but I don't think he's going to be close enough into the braking zone. Not quite. You don't pick up a lot of momentum down that straight, so you have to be tucked right up behind them to make the move stick, and Toxic stays in 4th, but it's looking pretty ominous for Toxic to get another podium here.
Yeah, he's sitting all over the rear wagon. Surely Larkin knows that this is up against him now to try and hold on to that 3rd place. He runs wide again, going through turn 18. He's under such pressure now as Larkin, and maybe he can seize the championship, slipping through his fingers there. Jacob's trying to get back to Toxic, but Toxic looks impervious and now gets right onto the rear wing of Larkin 4S. Larkin gets a good run though, coming in the last corner, runs wide, but will just about convert it. Hang on, but for how much longer can he hang on and keep a hold of that podium position? It seems unlikely that he will keep this to the checkered flag, with Toxic looming him ominously now, getting up to him and looking for any way of trying to get through then, as we head now, going down underneath the bridge very, very soon. Look at how close he's sitting to him. Larkin, a little bit of a chart for the rear tires, trying to apply the throttle and get on the traction, but now Toxic going for a move, down inside for 3rd place there. They're wheel-to-wheel in a turn 7 there, a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. Larkin forced off the track, will come back still in front, but Toxic later on the brakes, pinches Larkin to the inside, Larkin pinches Toxic against the wall, but Toxic now squeezes Larkin out, and that's a brilliant move, gets up in the third place there. Larkin did everything he could to hold him off, but it was futile in the end. Toxic comes through, round the outside of 8, inside of 9, superb stuff, now he runs third, and Toxic now in front of Larkin on track, and at the moment, he is heading for a second successive title if he can just keep it on the road, because at the moment, everything going on his way, Larkin has no response, and Toxic now runs third. Is there any way back for the Ardent driver?
I don't think there is. It just doesn't seem like Larkin has the pace. Toxic is so much faster than everyone around him. He's got such a pace advantage around this track. It's massively helping him. The only way that Toxic is going to lose is to Larkin is through penalties, I think, or a crucial error, but we haven't seen one from him tonight as of yet. Larkin trying to stick with him, but the resistance is futile at the moment, and it's not really working for him. This has allowed Verstappen and Campbell, meanwhile, to close back in, and Zaldamer as well. Tim, a little bit detached in 9th place, but he's still there if any of them make a mistake. A massive queue has formed behind Larkin after that battle, but Toxic crucially is now 4 seconds behind this battle for the lead, which is hotting up itself. Look at Matthias, all of a sudden 0.2 of a second behind Chilbeck, gets a really poor run through turns 22 and 23, so he can't get the run down towards turn 1. He's not going to try and make the move as Verstappen picks up a time penalty coming out of turn 23, so he's the first of that group of cars to pick up that crucial penalty. We've got a yellow flag, that's Ibo. Ibo's ended up in the wall at the start of sector 3. Does that bring out any sort of safety car?
Whoa.
Yes, it does. A full safety car for Ibo's crash. Ibo was running up in 12th place. A good result would have been his, but unfortunately that's brought out the safety car, and no one was close enough to the pit lane to make a pit stop, but everyone has passed the safety car. So does anybody come into the pit for a set of super soft tyres? I think if you're maybe Miami or Alex, you've got to, haven't you?
Yeah, but the dilemma for the race leaders is much more force, I suppose, then. Because, yeah, I agree with you. For the guys up the back of the grid, no brainer. You want to be getting into those pits and you want to be getting fresh tyres on. But if you're up at the front, you're thinking, well, the drivers behind me come in. Do I want to give up that track position at a track like Singapore that's so difficult to overtake? I think you're going to be seeing maybe a bit of a range here, but I think Chill may just try and stick it out. We'll see, of course, and there's an infinite number of strategic decisions that can be made, but this is really throwing things open. And also, that 4-second lead that Chill Matthias had over Toxic wiped out now, and Toxic is right back into it, and he is now within breathing distance of that potential double victory. What a night this has been for Toxic. Can he see it through the death? Can he make those overtakes stick? And maybe, just maybe, he can get for a double win, which will be absolutely critical for his championship charge.
This could be massive for him. He's gained loads of points on Larkin in the last few runs, but so far, this is a massive net gain on Larkin. Larkin's really struggled around Singapore. He's just not had the pace to challenge, even for a podium, it seems, today. He just hasn't been able to drive fast enough to get that kind of result, so he's kind of languishing in the mid-top 10 at the moment, which is not what you want for a man currently running second in the championship. Now, do Chill or Matthias come into the pit lane? Neither of them come in, so they're both staying out on track. We imagine that Toxic will stay out. Now, what do the people behind do? Larkin's going to stay out, J. Cole's going to stay out, Verstappen's going to stay out, Campbell staying out, Zaldamer staying out as well. Does anybody come in? No, Tim is staying out as well. Does Miami maybe come into the pit lane for a set of super soft tyres? Yes, he does. So Miami's the first of the drivers to come in. Alex stays out on the track, so he will lose a place to Alex. Jordan is a lap behind, so Miami's only going to lose one place on track. But Miami's got to try something different here. He's only running in 10th place, was too far off the back of the drivers' front to really gain anything, and not with a tyre advantage, he wasn't going to get much further up. So it's kind of a done deal really for Miami. He had to do it, didn't he?
Yeah, and we'll see now what he can make of that in these final few laps. I'm surprised that not more drivers actually came in. That entire train in the sort of 8 or 9 really that were running at a high competitive position, they decided to stay out, which is not surprising, because what's happened to Verstappen? He spun the safety car.
He spun completely on his own coming out of turn 7.
Oh my word! Cheerio, Verstappen, he's had a good night so far, but that has compromised him to no end. He now runs down in 9th place, and if the field doesn't bunch up on this lap, we're still waiting for Miami to get around, and Freak Frog is a little way off the back as well. But if it doesn't get back, I expect Verstappen may well come in on this lap, but still, That is just such an uncharacteristic error for Verstappen, who drove a very solid feature race to get that second place with no real errors. Now runs down in ninth, and wow, that could cost him some serious points, especially in his title battle. I should say his battle for third in the championship against his teammate Campbell, who now gets promoted up to sixth position.
Yeah, crucial in their battle. Verstappen currently headed that battle by 6 points, only 6 points. It's so close. Campbell, obviously the king of winning sprint races, Toxic the king of winning features. Campbell, the king of winning sprint races, up in 6th. Doesn't look like he's going to win the sprint race today, but this is points that he gains back on Verstappen after Verstappen got that podium in the first race. So that's crucial for their battle as well. Obviously got to look at that battle for P5 as well at the moment between Chill and Zaldibar. It was advantage Zaldibar in the first race, but Chill, I don't think he's won a race this season if my memory serves me correctly. I don't think Chill's won a race yet, so Chill, this has got to be his best opportunity at a race victory this season.
And he's dealt with the pressure so far, which has been relentless from Jarell Matthias. But he's kept him at arm's length so far. As I anticipated, QVR Verstappen goes pit lane bound and will rejoin the back of the grid. He'll give up a couple of positions out there on the track, but with a significant tyre advantage, he can make better of it. I think this may well be a good strategy call for Verstappen. He didn't have much to lose. Now he's going to go with it. I think he'll lose out to Miami. So Miami and Verstappen, they're going to be the real drivers to watch. See what they can do in the final few laps and see if they can maybe make a splash and challenge for top 5 positions out there on the track.
Yeah, that's going to be really crucial. Their first target's the LON drivers of Tim and Alex. Tim and Alex, you've got to say, this has been, in terms of pace, their best performance this season so far. Tim especially has done a great job to hold on to this battle that was currently running for 4th place, and now he's right back in the thick of it again. So let's see if he can maybe challenge for places further up, try and get their best result of the season so far. But it's Chill that leads for Matthias and Toxic on the podium so far. It's still very close to our prediction. If Chill disappears from this we get a double prediction correct, and we have to put the lottery on at the end of the night. But Chill's doing a brilliant job at sustaining the pressure, like you said. He's got 3 laps to go when they cross the line, and I imagine we will get going this lap. Verstappen should catch the back of this train before the end of the lap, so I imagine we'll get 3 laps of racing left, which means we'll only get 1 lap of DRS. So if it wasn't difficult enough to overtake, no DRS means it's almost going to be virtually impossible to make their moves, which is why Miami and Verstappen had to come in for those super softs. So they had to have some sort of advantage, otherwise it's very likely that we're just going to see the rest of them stay in the same order.
Yes, now, but now with that grip advantage, they're going to have a much easier time of it trying to move their way through. Whether they actually pull it off is the question. That's all in theory, of course. As for the top 9, though, they will all have equal tyres, which means it's pretty much a straight fight out there. Just quickly, I'm going to check for penalties out there. I believe most of the drivers should be just about clean and just running through it. Then the first driver to have a penalty, I'm still in 7th place now, and I've still not quite encountered one. It looks as though I think, Miami 5 does have one, and Verstappen has one. Ooh. So those drivers that are meant to be charging through on the super softs are going to be the ones compromised on this restart, which I think we're getting to very shortly, or we're still waiting for Freak Vonk to get onto the back of the train.
We're still waiting for Freak, yeah, so it's not 3 laps. We're only going to get 2 laps of racing left, so Freak not quite able to catch the queue before the safety car came in, which means another lap behind the safety car, so even less time for those drivers on the super softs to make the advantage. And with those time penalties as well, that is such a shame that they have those, because that at the end of the day is going to massively compromise where they could end up.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we'll see what they can make of it, but yeah, I think they're going to be severely compromised then. And 2 laps to try and make up 3 seconds on drivers that are in front of you on the track at the start of it. Yeah, that is a tall order for Miami and for Verstappen. We'll see what they can make of it. But yeah, when it's going to be such a close grid, you do not want to be having penalties. We'll see what else is going to make of the front runners then, if they maybe pick up penalties. I did see Matthias actually showed up as having 3 warnings. I'm guessing they were, at least 1 or 2 of them were for collisions. And obviously, you have to look at Larkin. After that incident with Campbell in the opening lap, does he have any potential penalties on his head after the race? So we'll see if that will unfold. I will say Larkin is completely clean. He didn't have a single warning. So it looks like a corner cutting penalty is very unlikely. But a steward's penalty could really hold it back. And that is where Toxic could seize a huge advantage then. He won the feature race, of course. He got pole position and the fastest lap. Actually, no, he just missed out the fastest lap on that feature race. My mistake. But he's looking at a huge point hole no matter what happens in, unless he has a major incident. But even so, Toxic looks in an absolute pound position now to move forward with it. The field is now converged. We'll get back to racing on this lap. 2 laps on the green flag. But Toxic, I'm sure we mentioned several times tonight, he's been on his best form I think we've seen all season in. He won that feature race by nearly 20 seconds, or maybe even over 20 seconds in the end. Maybe just lost a little bit on penalties. Safety car in this lap, and we'll see that race win be defined. Chill has led the entire way, sustained and held on to the pressure from Matthias. Now he has the entire field on his back though, and can he possibly hold on to it, to the checkered flag here, and just finally claim that elusive race win?
Yeah, he's done so well so far. Chill's been incredibly unlucky this season and has made a few mistakes while in good positions. He made a mistake in the feature race, put the car in the wall at the end of the first lap and picked up damage. Could have been a podium for him, but it didn't happen in the end. Chill now with his best opportunity to take a race victory this season. We've still got a long way to go, but he's got to get the victories in now, especially in his battle with Zaldama for 5th in the standings. But here we go then for the safety car restart. When is he going to go? He's running at a bit of a higher pace than we usually see. He's spreading the field out ever so slightly. He's still waiting to go. He's not gone as of yet. Coming out of the turn 21, there's a little bit near contact there for Matthias, I think, into the back of him as they now go through 22 and 23, and he goes midway through the 2 corners, so Chill gets going. Matthias reacted well though to the safety car restart, but so did Toxic. Toxic tucked right underneath as Miami in the background has a little bit of a slide coming out the corner, and Larkin had a look at Toxic. Oh yeah, Matthias is very wide, and Toxic down the inside. Crucial for Toxic's race. Another place gained. Matthias makes a crucial error, as oh my word, J. Cole nearly puts it in the wall coming through turn 4, but Toxic up into 2nd place, and now it's a battle between the Prema drivers for the race victory. Chill's going to be desperate for that race victory. Toxic's going to want as many points tonight as he can for his championship. Can Matthias maybe try and get him way back through? No, he can't. Campbell's trying to work his way past J. Cole. Can't make that move stick. One of the soft runners, well actually Verstappen and Miami have swapped places, and Verstappen is right behind Alex, looking down the inside for turn 8, incredibly late on the brakes. Does Alex see him? He just about does, but there's a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between the pair of them. Alex runs a little wider now through turn 9. Verstappen's going to try and get the switchback, runs into the back of him in the corner, and Miami gets back into 10th place with a great run coming up towards the Singapore lane. So Verstappen and Miami making mistakes at that safety car restart, not able to make the moves work at this time. But Chill leads, but it's now only by about 0.2 of a second over his teammate Toxic.
Toxic looking at this now. He's chasing a double race victory. Can he grab it at the death though? Pull it back down the field. Verstappen and Miami are still going at it now. Wheel to wheel. Down in the turn 14. Miami has the inside lane, but Verstappen later on the brakes, more confident, and gets into the top 10. But with the penalty, how much can he make of that position now? Up at the front, QVR Chill still leads the way. 4/10 clear. Can he put up with the pressure? His teammate Toxic surely will not lie down and will let him. I don't think he'll let him run away with this one. So Toxic chasing a double victory. Chill chasing a crucial race victory for any chance of him in getting 5th in the championship. But more than anything, he'll want it for the mental battle. He'll want to just take it away for his own self-belief. But Toxic is trying to take it away from him here. 3/10 is the difference. They're pulling away from Matthias. It's shaping up to be a Prema battle now for the final lap here in the sprint race. And Toxic is right with him. His best chance will be in the turn 7, but there's no DRS to assist him. He's going to have to do this the old-fashioned way, as they say. But Toxic gets a fantastic run through turn 5, and then look at him now. Here comes Toxic for the race lead there. He's going to go around the outside of 6 there. Laying on the inside of turn 7 there. Chill is under pressure. Now down the inside goes Toxic. Chill does not let it go. But now, down the inside, he almost gets through. Chill has the inside lane of turn 8 there, but Toxic laying on the brakes, glides around the outside. He denies his teammate on the final lap. Great move from Toxic, but it will be heartbreak for QVR Chill. Toxic now into the race lead, chasing a double victory, which will do wonders for his championship chances. His championship charge leads by 6/10 on the road there, and is surely headed for this. Barring any penalties or any mistakes, he looks set. So Toxic for the double victory looks almost certain now. He just has to keep it on track. Half a lap to go now here at Singapore. Chill in a better run coming out of turn 13, but he is not close enough. He's not near enough, and he cannot put on an overtake. 1/4 of a second is the good for Toxic MML. He powers out now, heading for the final set to the field all on the line. I don't think we'll be seeing any real overtaking opportunities, but the most important one happened on this lap. Toxic MML cruise through, and there just has a few corners to go to see out another race victory. They're a double win, and this could really swing the championship to his favour now. As you mentioned earlier, he has one hand on the championship trophy. If he can just get round this last corner, okay. Toxic from 8th on the grid, rounds turn 22, rounds turn 23. He comes over the line, and Toxic is your race winner. What a remarkable drive to come through at a track where overtaking is now impossible. He wins the day. Toxic is your winner. Chill, so close yet so far. He settles for second. Matthias third rounds at the podium. What a conclusion to the sprint race, but Toxic again comes out on top.
Toxic has been in a class of his own today. No one has come close to his pace. He's been so much faster than the rest of the field, and Chill, so desperate for that first race victory of the season, has it snatched away on the final lap. But I tell you what, Chill kind of gave it away in the end. Chill didn't defend the line into turn 7, and Toxic just breezed down the inside. They made it quite easy for each other. There wasn't any contact, and Toxic with a double victory, one fastest lap and pole position as well. Toxic comes home with nearly every single point you can get tonight, with Larkin struggling as well further down the field. Brilliant stuff from Toxic. What a dominant 2 races it's been for him. He wins the sprint race then. The rest of the field then, it's a Prema 1-2. I think maybe for the first time this season we see a Prema 1-2. Chill in second place. Still a great drive from him, but gutting to miss out on that first race victory. Matthias with his first podium and a great debut event for him. Larkin 4th ahead of J. Cole 5th. Campbell 6th, Zaldama 7th, and Tim in 8th place. Alex in 9th. Passes Verstappen and Miami on penalties. Freak passes Miami on penalties as well, so he gets up into 11th place. Jordan a lap down, and Ibo, Spag and Philippe weren't able to finish the race in the end. What a crazy night of racing it's been, but Toxic in a class of his own.
Yeah, and he wins the day by a second in the end. He's not listed as having the fastest lap. For some reason, Campbell still is. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe that's just translated over from the feature race. But actually, no, I've just clicked the sprint race results. Toxic did indeed get the fastest lap, narrowly over Matthias. But yeah, in a class of his own. And really, with that, it just moves another step closer to the championship. Larkin in 4th place, and with a potential penalty on his head. Toxic yet again wins the day, and surely now there's almost no looking back. He just has to keep doing what he's doing right now, and a second championship in a row looks almost inevitable at this point.
I mean, yeah, there's not really much that Larkin can do. Larkin can do the best he can, win races, but Larkin hasn't won a race in quite a while, it seems like. The last race for him must have been at least maybe 2 or 3 rounds ago. That was the last time he won this race, and since then he's barely been on the podium. His last 5 rounds now, including Singapore, he's dropped a lot of points to what he was scoring at the start of the season. He was in the high 30s, low 40s range in scoring points. He's now down into the mid 20s in scoring points each week, so it's really dropped for him. What a shame. Larkin's championship was looking so good in the first half of the season. It's kind of fallen by the wayside. But before we finish the stream tonight, I think I'm going to know, I think I know who you're going to say, but who's your driver of the day today, Daka?
It sounds like a broken record, but double victory. You can't go against that. Toxic was, in the end, remarkably close to a perfect round on point scoring, was just narrowly denied by about, I think, a couple of hundredths of a second of fastest lap in the feature race on Campbell, who was in an alternate strategy. So Toxic was just in a league of his own. Looked, at times, a second a lap quicker than anyone else on the track. There's no other choice in my mind.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one as well. As much as I don't want to do the boring answer, Toxic just so dominant today in both the feature and the sprint race. His pace was absolutely incredible around Singapore, and that's pretty ominous for the next round next week. Well, obviously, we had a break week in the division races last week, but they are back this Saturday, so tune in to the League of Europe YouTube channel on Saturday for the division races around Singapore. They're sure to be just as good a races as the Formula 2 race was today. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for commenting on the stream. Thank you to the drivers for racing, and thank you, J. Cole, for being in the interview this earlier on in this stream, and thank you as well to Daka for joining me in the commentary box today. But from myself and Daka, it is thank you very much and goodbye.